DP George Ekufu-Dampare, prime witness Bugri Nabu sings like a bird, laying bare to the parliamentary committee probing content of the leak tape, his interaction with police chiefs.
He gives lot to NDC presidential man, and even the late vice wife, they all get slot.
He tells the committee about the threats on his life after the leakage of the audio.
He sent a word through my son that will deal with me, that threatened me.
We have details from today's sittings as implicated police officers prepare to appear before the committee on Thursday.
What is next is that Thursday, those who have been named on the audio will have to come before the committee for us to also interrogate them and adduce evidence.
Also tonight, violent scenes erupt at Tamale Youth. Clashes with police at Tamale District Court 1, leaving 3 persons injured and an AK-47 snatched. We get to bring you details as police arrest 13 persons following the attack on the Tamale District Court 1 in business.
Government hints of fresh measures to check rising debts and clear arrears over a period.
We also have sports, and then the 2023 edition of the biggest street arts festival in West Africa, Chale Wote, ends with multiple events as thousands troop to the Black Star Square to participate in the annual celebration of arts and culture.
This is my 3rd time. It's fantastic. I'm loving it. This is my 10th time here. 10th time!
We have details of that. We also have sports.
Yeah, we hear from the president of West Ham Supporters Union Group in Ghana following Mohamed Kudu's move to West Ham.
Well, we have that and more in tonight's edition of Newsnight. Do you want to join us with your thoughts and comments via WhatsApp 055-1111-997. We are live on X Spaces. We're on Facebook. We're on myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apawu. Please do stay on for details. This is your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. We're digging now, and former Northern Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bugri Nabu Daniel, we are told, has made staggering revelations about his engagement with some top police officers who wanted IGP George Ekufu-Dampare ousted for allegedly working against the NPP's breaking the 8th mantra in the 2024 elections. Bugri Nabu, a key witness in the investigations, made his first appearance before the committee investigating the authenticity of the tape today. While authenticating the tape, he revealed those captured on it were top senior officers in the police service who had wanted to use him as a conduit to the president to remove the IGP and replace him with their preferred choice. Before we get to hear from him, though, let's listen to excerpts of that particular leak tape.
Why do you kill policemen? We have a very famous, and you have seen him. You see how humble he is? Yes, very, very humble. And I told you, he is a lawyer. I haven't met him. That is why every policeman wants to see him as his or her IGP. Master, Alaji. That's how now, Mommy, you're crying. When I met him, I was surprised. Thank you. You see, humility. This genuine humility. Genuine. And yet the faithful humility. Yes, he's the one that we want. Now, when you say the enemy, you will see the outcome of the elections. Do you understand? And he's a true party man. The president is aware because of the way he's being treated.
Just a bit of that leaked tape. But you can listen to Bugri Nabu today authenticating this particular tape you heard.
I'm part for Commander Asari. One man also later joined, called Commander COP Mensah. Okay. That he's on leave now.
prior to his retirement. Yeah, he was also part of it. Yes. When the meeting were going on, I didn't see the person, so no. One JP, who is also a police superintendent at the police headquarters.
Well, that's Bugri Nabu there talking about the officers involved. So he earlier also told the committee, confirmed that what we hear in the tape is actually from him. He actually recorded it, confesses that, yes, he knows about this tape and that's his voice and that of the other police chiefs in there. Well, my colleague Samuel Mbura sat through proceedings today. He joins me in studio. Samuel, thank you so much. You must have heard a lot today at that committee. But first, let's listen to Mr. Bugri Nabu revealing the identity of all the officers involved.
One Commander Asari, police commander. Yes. But I don't know which district or which region or which section he commands. Okay. But he introduced himself to me when he came to my office.
Who is the other individual apart from Commissioner Asari that was on tape?
Apart from Commander Asari, there was one man also later joined called Commander COP Mensah.
Okay.
That he's on leave now prior to his retirement. Yeah, he was also part of it.
Yes. So you were only three?
Then later, when the meeting were going on, I didn't see the person, it was on phone. One JB, who is also a police superintendent at the police headquarters. But I haven't seen him. He talked to me on phone.
Well, so Imura, let's talk about what led to the leaking of this particular tape as he reviewed to the committee.
Well, as he mentioned the names of the officers in the tape before the committee, he said one Commander Asari came to his office to tell him that the IGP wouldn't be helpful to break the 8. He was convinced by the advice of Commander Asari because he earlier told him that if they go into a sin not by election, they will lose. And it eventually played out. That is why he, Bugri Nabu, believed him. So he planned to schedule a meeting with the president, but he had to talk to the police council and the interior minister to let them know that this was the situation on the ground. So he later came with us, Commander Asari, later came with COP Mensah for the second time, whom he introduced to him as the competent person to handle the position. He listened to them. He was also consulting with some other people on what they have been telling him. So he even promised Commander Asari to come with him and then he would take him to the president. But he wasn't available, but delegated one Chief Supu, JB, as he mentioned in there. He called him on phone and told him a lot of issues, but he didn't reveal the issues that they discussed at the meeting. So the meeting with the president was supposed to be on a Sunday at 3 p.m. But when he called Commander Asari, he rather gave the number of JB to him, but JB told him that he was outside Accra and was in the eastern region. So he was disappointed by their action because he felt that they wanted to use him as a smokescreen for their agenda. So he had to deploy another means. A reason he now had to get his gadgets ready, and later when the third meeting came, he recorded them with the intention of playing the sound to the president so that the president will hear that this is what the officers are saying, so that it will not be he the one saying it. Let's listen to that brief narration that he gave.
The first thing, when the Commander Asari met me and told me, in fact, I get scared. So I say, anything I will do, I will record whatever they talk to me.
Well, Chief, I want to find out from you that, has there been a previous conversation which is off tape and subsequently you schedule them to come to you and you tape them?
Yes.
Okay.
Somebody brought him to my office that I want me to take him with a CV. He came with a CV with a Commissioner Mensah that I should, on the same issue. I hope you are getting what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
On the same, going to see president for them to appoint that commissioner, sorry, somebody brought him to the office with him. Then I didn't want to take it serious, because why you are going on retirement and then you are on leave?
Chief.
Somebody brought him first. You understand?
Yes. And the purpose of he coming to see you is how you could use your influence to get him as a IGP.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, it's a tell-it-all moment before the committee today. So, Imura, the issue about some other allegations from the officers regarding giving of recruitment slots to some politicians also came up. Let's talk about it.
Exactly. He mentioned the former president, John Mahama, who is the candidate for the NDC, that the officers told him that Dan Parry gave him slots, about 300 of them, and also gave 50 slots to the wife of the former vice president of blessed memory, to also get their people onto the roll. So that is what he said before the committee, that Dan Parry is doing all this to please Mahama, because Mahama promised that if he comes into office in 2024, he will maintain him as the IGP.
This person they were referring to, that he is an NDC member. He was promoted so many times during NDC time, and the same person still go to NDC meeting. And the NDC presidential candidate has also assured him that he will retain him if he should come to power. Secondly, he gives slot to NDC presidential man, and even the late vice wife, they all get slot. So this is not like what independent side you are talking about.
But when you say slots, Chief, can you explain? He gives slots. What's that?
They said when they are going to do recruit, they give your mama 300 slots. And the vice president wife, the late vice president wife, they give them 50 slots. That's what they said.
Well, so that's some of the revelations at the committee hearing. He also talks about the threat on his life after the leaking of this audio.
Exactly. So he said that he didn't leak the audio to the media.
But who did?
So the reason he recorded them was to give it to only the president. In his earlier submission, he indicated that he handed over the tape to the president, and the president later gave it to the police for investigation. Okay. So when he heard that the tape was leaked, he called the Commander Asare, who was trying to bring in his own preferred IGP. Why that tape was leaked, he banged the call on him for the first time. The second one, he didn't answer his call. Then he now sent a message to his son, threatening him that they would deal with him.
I called Mr. Asare. I called him and asked him who sent the tape into public domain, and he banged the phone on me. Then I called him again. Then he refused to talk to me. But rather, he sent a word through my son that will deal with me, that threatened me.
Well, Imura, and that's it, the threat. And I know that subsequently you've been interacting with the committee chair and then also members of the committee on this particular issue. First, though, what has the committee chair been telling you? So,
Mr. Atachia said he wasn't shocked by the revelations, but what they are going to do is that they'll invite the 3 police officers that have been implicated to appear before them on Thursday.
At this point in time, we hold our horses and to have the full complement of the evidence, and then we see what to do. But what is very significant is that we wanted him to authenticate the audio, which he did, and he said he even named those who were on the audio, and that is sufficient.
So what is next?
What is next is that Thursday, those who have been named on the audio will have to come before the committee for us to also interrogate them and adduce evidence.
So what happens to him now, Mr. Budina?
He's released for now, unless there are residual matters that he has to come back and answer. But so far, we've released him to go.
Would you say you are satisfied with the responses from him?
I don't have to judge the issues now, as I keep saying, because at the end of the day, you need to listen to everybody, and then we'll be able to understand the full complement of the evidence. We are supposed to, adduce the evidence, come out with what we call the findings of fact, and then we also have value judgments as well. Whether a witness was lying and looking at his demeanor and his tendencies, and whether even what he said is not an absurdity. Right. So those values.
Well, so that's Atachia, chairman of the committee there. Thankfully, we've been joined on the line by security expert, Professor Kwesi Ening. We are grateful for your time here on Newsnight, and I must apologize for keeping you waiting all this while. But first, though, listening to the tape and then the subsequent authentication by Bugri Nabu to the committee today, are you of the view that the whole security preparations and arrangement towards election 2024 may be undermined or compromised in any way?
Well, I think it compromises at least the security arrangements, how much we can trust the way that security is provided. But even more importantly, this vicious manner in which a public official who is doing or who is performing the duties to which the state has authorized that person is perceived not to be playing ball or is not manipulable. And I think that raises particularly worrying concerns, and it shows a desperate and a dangerous trend in our politics, in which professional behavior in office is not appreciated. You need to make yourself, approachable. You need to be able to be corruptible, and basically you need to sing and dance to your master's tune. So it raises a couple of questions. One, what was it that led these individuals to go to the chief and to think that it can be a conduit for their message or their frustrations?
It appears they've been dealing with him for some time, because from what he's been saying, this is not the first time that they were meeting. They'd met previously, for which reason Bugri Nabu thought he had to now record the subsequent conversations he was going to have with them.
I don't think that is very convincing. You see, because people choose those that they can do business with based on a certain track record. So amongst all the party chairmen, for him to be chosen, then these two individuals, hopefully when they appear before the parliamentary committee, thinking that they have been undermined and stripped bare, will also tell us why they chose this particular individual. You see, whose interest was it to leak this tape? Because from what the tape says and from what we are hearing, the chairman himself would not have sent this tape to His Excellency the President had it not been in the public domain. Or it came into the public domain before he gave it to the President.
For what he's saying, it didn't come to the public domain before. He actually sent it to the President. The President sent it to the police for investigation. That's when they say the leakage happened.
Well, we need to get the sequencing right. And I think right now, until the committee finishes its work and can tie the pieces together and look at the timestamps, everyone will try to cover his or her back. But what it means is that people are desperate to manipulate the processes through which others come to power, in which public offices are shared, and it's quite clear that the interest of Enterprise Ghana is not part of the calculus. It's people's greedy, selfish, vicious interest that drives this conversation. And I think by the time the committee finishes its sitting, certainly some people would have to be punished.
Well, do you get the
there
sense?
must be a way in which a signal is sent that this is not how the public interest must be protected.
Well, but from what you've heard, though, do you get the sense that indeed the threat to remove, or the threat or the plot to remove IGP George Akuffo Dampare is actually real?
Well, the day Dr. Dampare took office, on that day, people hated him because Dr. Dampare's position has been very clear right from the word go. From when he was commander in Accra, when he went to the Command and Staff College in Widiba, the way he dealt with powerful people on the Spintex Road. When you do right things in this country, you make powerful enemies. And for a powerful law enforcement officer like Dr. Dampare, his enemies are an arm's length. Okay? So whatever he does, he will make enemies. But I've always said this. When you have an individual who is driven by principles and values and does not see the occupation of an office as an end in itself, but only as a conduit to serving society, then that person is willing and prepared to say, thank you very much, Your Excellency. It's now time for me to leave. That is what people are afraid of. That Dr. Dampare is doing his job to his ability best possible. Has he made enemies? Plenty. Will he make enemies today? Maybe double the number that he has. Will that affect him in delivering on his pledge to serve the Republic of Ghana? No.
But will this investigation go anywhere, though?
Excuse me?
I'm asking if this investigation, the findings, what we've heard so far, will it go anywhere?
I don't know. In Ghana, committees of inquiry don't go anywhere. But even if it does not, it has shown the public support for Dr. Dampare, that the public believes in the effectiveness of his leadership, in the transparency and honesty with which he has done his job. So the public inquiry now becomes, a contest between the members of the committee doing what is right in protecting the office of the IGP, in which majority of Ghanaians trust, in which this IGP is seeking to turn that historical perception of a police service that is corrupt, that is incapable of delivering law enforcement, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
So Mr. Atache's committee must be seen to be acting on the recommendations that it provides.
Okay.
So these are very interesting things. But I can assure you, the more revelations we hear, the more solid Dr. Dampare's position becomes and the more respect he gets from the public.
We're grateful, Professor Kwesi Eningne, interacting with us. But thankfully also we have Mr. Peter Lanchini Tobu. He is a member of the committee as well, joins us on the line. We're grateful for your time, Mr. Tobu. So as a former officer, I'm dying to hear your views on this. What will this authentication of the leak tape by Bugri Nabu do to the colleagues of these officers, especially because they are top-level officers?
Hello, Emefa. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Tobu. So I was asking what exactly this authentication or what we heard today from Bugri Nabu do to the colleagues of these officers, especially because they are all top-level officers.
Thank you very much. Let me say good evening to our cherished listeners. Thank you, Professor Kwesi. It's been a while that I heard that I listened to him. What we are doing at the committee level is in direct relation to the reference given to us by the Speaker of Parliament. One, to authenticate the tape, look at the security implications of the content of the tape, and make some serious recommendations to ensure that the security of this country is never disturbed. Because these are very serious issues raised in the tape. And we were so excited that Chief Bugri Nabu came saying, I recorded, and I recorded for posterity's sake. I don't want to tell the story anywhere, and somebody will challenge me thinking that probably I can lie. So I have a tape to prove. And we questioned him about privacy. And he said, when it comes to matters of security, very particularly national security matters, we should go a bit soft on issues of privacy. So he has recorded it, and everything in that tape, he says, was genuine. And we are very surprised that in this modern era of our democracy, that a police officer at that level that he was telling us can actually go lobbying so dirty to the point that it debases the office of the IGP, to the point that he thinks that that was a wrong person appointed because an IGP must always be a person who will have to collaborate with the government in power for them to rig elections. And that is quite disturbing to a very fragile democracy that's just about 32 years old. So the Apawu Committee is delving deep into the matter, and at the conclusion of the investigations, we will try to make some very telling recommendations for Parliament's consideration.
Okay, so now that authentication has been done, he's made your work easy. Safe to say you're almost done with your work then?
Of course, all the names that I mentioned who are police officers, we are going to invite them for them to come and have a side of their story heard by the committee, and we'll ask some questions. At the end of the day, we will make recommendations and put the report before the Speaker of Parliament. It will be debated, and Parliament will convey Parliament's position to government.
But as a former officer, though, is this all new to you, or is it just a norm? It happens all the time, doesn't it?
This is very new to me. Lobbying is accepted in every aspect of politics, is accepted in every aspect of public life. But the degree of debt that is associated with this particular lobbying, when I heard the details in the tape, I was shocked to the marrow, because it is not possible for somebody to go telling people that, you see, let's remove this IGP and bring somebody who can actually trace the hands of the voters to make somebody who is not supposed to be president of the republic become president, because things must be done to favor the wrong. That is not the way we maintain democracy. I think that if the Fourth Republic is going to go that line and the police cannot be professional, we will be thinking of something different. That is not an acceptable way to go.
Okay. Can't wait for Thursday when these top officers are invited by the committee, and we'll bring you all the details. And also for today's sit-ins, you can get all the details available on myjoyonline.com, and you can miss it on TV as well. You can watch it live on the Joy News channel. But let me take you to Tamale now, where 3 persons have sustained injuries after a violent clash at the Tamale District Court. The incident occurred during a court session involving a man accused of drug supply. Among the victims is a male who has been taken to the Tamale Regional Hospital and is currently at the theatre. The second victim, we are told, suffered a compound fracture in the thigh and is being readied for transfer to the Tamale Teaching Hospital. Additionally, a female with leg injuries also currently hospitalized. Well, my colleague Martina Bugri joins us live from Tamale with updates on this. Martina, let's talk about the arrests after this particular incident. What are we learning?
We have been told that a lot of people were arrested, but some were currently we have 13 people who are in custody. We are told that this crowd had gathered at the court premises after information had gone out that a suspect who was standing trial, there was a likelihood he was going to be freed. And so several thronged the court premises to protest if he was free. We are told that whilst they were outside there, a police officer who was in mufti was holding his security watch, and they suspected he was filming them, and that it says them, and they started attacking. But they didn't know. They didn't know he was a police officer, so they started attacking him. But one person recognizing that he was a police officer was rescued. I was told that earlier on they had attacked people, also tried to film the process and the exchanges that was going outside the court premises. And we are told that whilst this man was rescued, they noticed that his rifle was missing. It was at this point the police who were inside the court premises and some outside, they began to shoot to disperse the crowd because they had gone haywire and started attacking and vandalizing the place. We are told that while the police were firing, the people were also pelting stones. And so when you go to the court premises now, you have the roof of the building, stones have penetrated through the glasses and other things destroyed. They burned tires in front of the place as well.
Okay, well, the injuries, you reported earlier that some of them have been taken to the Tamale Teaching Hospital amongst others. What are you learning about those who are injured?
Yes, one person was on admission at the Tamale Teaching Hospital at the time we were told that she was not in a stable condition to speak to us, so we needed to go and return. And when we went to the Tamale Regional Hospital, where 2 people were there, we saw the female patient a victim who had been shot. She had a fracture on the leg, and she was being prepared to be referred to the Tamale Hospital. We're told that the male victim was at the theater where he was being worked on. And they will not be in a position to give us further details until the doctor who was at the theater comes out.
Okay. Well, Martina, whilst you reposition yourself properly, though, what are you learning could be the real reason behind this particular clash that has led to these injuries?
Now, there have been issues of drug abuse in the metropolis. It's gotten to a height that a task force was formed by the community members and with the backing of the chief to begin to fight this menace. So this group, they go out at night, visit communities, arrest people on suspicion of trafficking and dealing in drugs, and those who are using drugs as well. They have made several arrests, and so they sent some of them to the police station. They were processed for court. Some admitted and they were sentenced. It was this one that was left, and they believe that this was the kingpin of the entire trade.
Okay, thank you very much. That's Martina Bugri. Well, she's also been covering the launch of the phase 2 of the Planting for Food and Jobs and the reviewed one after the implementation of phase 1, which started in 2017. She's come through with this report.
Speaking at the launch of the phase 2, the President Nana Akufo-Addo said there was relatively stable food security environment in the country after the implementation of the phase 1.
Significant successes have been recorded after some 6 years of implementation of this first phase of the Planting for Food and Jobs program. Notably, these include reaching over 2.7 million farmers and other value chain actors under the 5 modules. 6 years may not be too long, but I'm sure you'll agree with me that the dynamics have changed and have improved the circumstances of our nation's agriculture. Nonetheless, the rapid increase in population growth, low access to credit, persisting inefficient methods of production, heavy financial burden on government imposed largely by subsidy of seed and fertilizers, relatively low support for commercial farming, and the impact of climate change.
Minister for Food and Agriculture, Brian Echampon, said it was embarrassing the country was still importing vegetables even though resources have been sunk in.
Mr. President, in a recent meeting with the onion importers plying the Niger route, it was disclosed to me that on average, an amount of $2 million was spent weekly to import onions. I deem this as an embarrassment.
The Northern Regional Minister, Shani Al-Hassan Shaibu, on his part, said the Northern region remains the food basket of the country.
Well, so that's from the launch of the second phase of the Planting for Food and Jobs in Tamale. It's time for business. George.
And Emefa, this has serious implications for our FX. And know when there is some pressure on the Ghana cedi, these are some of the reasons why we struggle to get dollars and some pressure on the Ghana cedi. Because we are spending weekly about $2 million. We don't print dollars in this country. And you have to use more Ghana cedis to get the limited dollar supply in this country.
Well, give us more.
Well, Emefa, government hints of fresh measures to check rising debts and clear arrears over a period. And Emefa, I don't know whether you're expecting any relative from London today, because there's a likelihood that he or she might have some problems getting to Accra today because of some technical issues with the UK traffic control system. I'll be getting you more details on that one. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business, Kingdom Books and Stationery, Syntax Tanks, and Pepsodent, that is the Charcoal NB Herbal.
It's the best season of the year, just in some points. Momo pay or you say Momo app. Send with ease and win big. You be merchant or you be Momo user. Momo season Abanti, send the Vivia. Send the Vivia. Momo season Abanti, send the Vivia. send the BBI.
From now till the end of September, earn points when you download the Momo app and make Momo Pay transactions to a merchant via either the QR code or merchant ID and stand the chance of winning 1,000 Ghana cedis weekly and other amazing prizes. Our merchants are not left out. Receive payment and win. There are lots and lots of exciting prizes to be won. So download the Momo app, transact with Momo Pay, and get rewarded this Momo season. TNCs apply.
MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Luxurious, affordable living is your right, and no one understands it better than BOT Properties. BOT Properties specializes in modern residential buildings and commercial office spaces. Our properties include the Equator, a 12-story made up of over 100 apartments near Accra Mall. Other Equator courts, we offer you the deluxe living experience with our top-of-the-range homes, high-quality homes built with style and precision to suit your lifestyle. The Equator Court is a gated community with 2-story, 4-bedroom detached houses at Ogbojo, East Legon, near American House. Our office complexes include Zion House, Shiashi, East Legon, Zion House, Sofa Line Interchange, Kumasi. Our offices and apartments are for both rental and outright purchases at affordable prices and with flexible payment terms. Kindly contact us on 0257 960 919 or visit botproperties.com. BOT Properties, the new meaning of affordable luxury.
No matter your water needs, Sintex has it all. Sintex tank was first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Sintex tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana, and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Sintex tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project, or demand, choose Sintex tank. Sintex tank, stress-free. Sintex tank, reliable. Sintex tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244 335 168, Kumasi 0505 555 666, or visit sintexgh.com. Sintex tank, a year strong, a year tough.
I'm afraid. Media Sambisanda mo. It's your Mratiano, Mumu, Panet, Vietnam, Podompe, Mumana Yakono. Eh, Quabna. No, Mumu wants to be just my memory in that day. And the crow, corporate Miri number don't be sense or you super accident ever. I didn't have been the Braille. Who see it in a mobile, some man are holding it. Sir, I need now could you soon use super accident Chaco. Then dear, a mouse, and we are credit fit of that. No, what you ask you, your mother feel you. Hey, Kojo, sir. Yeah. Pepsodent ever and a Pepsodent Chaco. A baby, you're gonna natural.
FDIJ Jadion Katuyatu.
Back to business on Newsnight. Now, government says it is implementing fresh measures that will help contain the rise in debts and clear arrears over the period. The IMF has currently classified Ghana as a debt-distressed country. Now, this could impact on the cost of borrowing for businesses in the country. The Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, says these policy measures being implemented should help deal with with this challenge.
Are huge, yet the envelope of resources available to us is so small, very limited. And this is why you have contractors working, they are not being paid. But there is another side to it. Have we lived within our means? And this is why the government is aggressively implementing the gift mix system so that before a contract is awarded, there is budget for it. The other side is that we have developed an arrears clearance plan, which is one of the conditions we have to meet in the IMF first review. And this is a commitment to clear the arrears over some number of years. And contractors should be assured that over that period, we are committed to clear those arrears.
Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam is the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry. Are you expecting to fly out of Accra to London tonight, or you're expecting a relative from that country? Well, there's a likelihood that this would not happen. It follows serious technical issues with the air traffic control in UK. The development may also make it difficult for flights operating out of London today. It will also affect flights connecting from the US and the Americas and Asia through London to Accra. Now, London is a hub for travels in Europe, and the move could also affect other airlines operating from that country as well. Now, the Ghana Hotel Association has maintained that its protest against the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission would directed at the more than 100% hike in water tariffs in February this year. The association is tomorrow expected to march the officers of the commission over their concerns. President of the association, Dr. Edward Akanyamike, tells Joy Business their concerns need to be addressed.
An 8.3% increase in water tariff for that period. As it turns out, when our bills came, we actually saw 167% increase. What it means is that the hotels have incurred a lot of debt within that period. We've been asking the PURC to correct that. We've sent petitions. We've even asked our GTA to the Ghana Tourism Authority to intervene, but nothing has really come out of it. And we have decided to mount this protest so that this anomaly can be corrected. See the bills, which indicated 167%. We wrote to them, and they actually admitted that there had been some mistake in the categorization of the consumers, and so they would investigate and correct it. Only for them to come back later and say that it's a new categorization and been placed in the commercial category.
President of the Ghana Hotels Association, Dr. Edward Akanyamike. Now, the Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Eslosu Kufu, has indicated that government is set to establish a neutral shared infrastructure company to deliver 4G and 5G services nationwide. According to her, this forms a part of government's measures to address and also enable service providers to extend services to the rural areas. She was speaking at the 12th edition of the African Peer and Interconnection Forum hosted by Main One.
We've just been granted approval to have a neutral shared infrastructure along these same lines. We'll be working with the network operators and private investors to set up a 4G network and 5G network as well on this shared infrastructure. So we're not going to be auctioning 5G. We're giving it to this network so that all operators can use it. So it's open shared infrastructure, and it will extend 4G connectivity to about 80% of the population.
And Eslosu Kufu is the Minister of Communications and Digitalization. Let's turn our attention to the stock market. If you are a shareholder in Gola, was down by 2 pesos to close at 1 Ghana cedi, 58 pesos. For SIC or shareholders of SIC, it went up by 2 pesos to close at 24 pesos. But as SG, the Societe Generale, was up by a peso to close at 1 Ghana cedi. And those are interesting numbers there if you're a shareholder of some of these shares on the Ghana Stock Exchange. And that's all for business on Newsnight and Emefa. Interesting developments. And for those who are trying to catch a flight tonight, it is quite serious. And this thing could linger on for days, Emefa.
It's affecting you, isn't it?
Not really.
How you go for dinner in London and come back. I'm sorry for you. Well, but it's really a serious situation. Hoping that it will be resolved soon, so it doesn't affect businesses, amongst others. Well, let's do some of your messages, George. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening. We have one from Major One in Kumasi. What moral right has MP Lanchini Tobu to talk about police professionalism? Was he not doing NDC party politics whilst he was in? Okay. And we have this one from Kofi Sede. The police officers plotting to oust George Akufudampare should be made to face the full weight of the law when found culpable. We also have this one from Musa Abatwa in Aswase. I don't think the fact-finding committee needs to do too much because once Bugri Nabu has authenticated and owned the voice on the audio, 70% of the committee's work is done. The perpetrators should be severely punished, he says. We have this one also from Abuchi Philip in Keta. He says, Ghana is a peaceful country and the NPP big men who are trying to cause mayhem in this country must be very careful. Ghanaians, if you know you're not eating 3 times daily and your situation is too bad in Ghana, boot super. Okay, I'm not really getting that. And we have this one also says nothing will happen to Ken Ejapong. The NPP made him the monster that he is. Some of your messages that you sent in. And speaking of the NPP, a lot has been happening regarding the Super Delegates Conference, and we've been talking about it on Top Story. And we know that one key allegation that came up is the issue about vote buying. And we've been hearing from the camp of Alan Kojo Chairman Hope Sinadoye. He's been interacting with us right after the Super Delegates Conference, insisting that there was some vote buying that went on. Well, I've been interacting with Frederick Opariansa, leading member of the Baumia campaign team, and he's been dismissing the claims that the Baumia campaign team bribed delegates in order for them to vote for him.
We have a certain culture in this country, and sometimes some of the things that put us in bad levels on the corruption perception index, it's also how we ourselves put information out. Mm-hmm. Can you go to any chief's palace without carrying a bottle of schnapp and an envelope in this country? Does that constitute bribery?
They don't vote, do they?
I'm just asking, but they vote. When you're going for general elections, we visit chiefs, and so am I bribing them or trying to influence their decision? No, it is what we do. It's about time that we understand some of these things. Go to Suhum. When you're going for these elections, somebody will come from a place called Afranso Dedewa. He will sit on a motorbike to Asarikrom. That one, the charge is 50 cedis. Mm-hmm. Then take another one from there to Akrabo, another 50 cedis, from Akrabo to Suhum. By the time he gets to Suhum to come and meet a presidential aspirant, he may have spent close to 150 cedis and return the same route. So when he comes to meet you and you even give him or take 200 cedis to mitigate your expense, somebody hears and then comes at you that, hey, the guy is buying vote. No. As Kwabena rightly put it, you are only subsidizing the cost of 300 cedis that the person incurred to get to come and listen to you.
Well, we can now hear from the chairman of the National Council of Elders, Mr. Hackman Uswajiman, raising concerns about and then receiving concerns about the special college, electoral college system and how expensive it is and whether there should be a review of this particular system.
So far, everything has gone on quite smoothly. It's just that a few people are beginning to think that maybe there's need to take a look at the Constitution and avoid this so-called electoral college. It's expensive, it's also sometimes divisive, but I believe that in the fullness of time, we shall take a look at the Constitution and look at that aspect of it. But that, having said that, I am happy.
Soon are we hoping that will happen, though?
Well, the Constitution was supposed to have been revised about 2 years ago. Everything was done, but we keep postponing it. But this was not one of the issues that had been sort of highlighted for discussion. But I sincerely believe that we should have a look at it.
There have been incidents, some cases we've heard in some parts of the country. Really, the issues about unity going forward right now because of the concerns that has been raised from the various factions. As Council of Elders, you have a task ahead of you after this. How is it going to be?
Very much so. I mean, when you have elections of this nature, there are bound to be difficulties, but we will try and resolve them. As far as we are concerned, we didn't expect 100% satisfaction on all fronts. We have problems. If we do have problems, we have means of resolving them, and that's what we do. We are one family. We belong to the same stables, and there's no need that why we should be falling over ourselves. We have done what the Constitution says we must do, and I believe we should be able to resolve any issues if there are any. But so far, nothing come to light. There is an elections committee who will be looking at issues, and if there are some that needs further sort of discussions, we'll take it. Yeah.
Well, so that's a Hackman Owuswajiman. We've been interacting with some of the field aspirants also. Komneje Japong has been interacting with us, raising concerns about the fact that indeed some monies were paid, but he's also been talking about how he's been taking his results.
So what is important is I am a servant of this political tradition.
Okay.
Eventually, the party would elect a leader. Okay. And once that leader is elected, I serve the party. If I have to serve it through the leader that the party elects, that is Kwabena Ejapong. I've been the party and a dedicated patriot of the MPP. I mean, when you travel around the country, you go to Dambai and somebody has come from Ketekrachi to come and meet you, to hear you address them. The decent thing to do is to try and subsidize their transport. So a little transport money, that is not buying. It's something that we've done from 1992. I did it when I contested in 98, in 2007, in 2014 when I won as General Secretary. So all the things, the shenanigans that people orchestrate, I think, for me as a politician, you should focus on the big picture. Focus on your attempt to win the vote. And if you are lucky to do so, you thank God for that and you carry on. If you don't win, you go back and you re-strategize and lick your wounds as I'm licking mine.
Also, that's Kwabena Ejapong there. And you can catch the full interview on the probe currently on the Joy News channel, also on myjoyonline.com. Let's do sports. Musbao, you just changed the West Ham United t-shirt.
Yeah, I had to go on TV, so I had to put on the suit. But it's big news for Ghana. Mohamed Kudus moved to West Ham United from Ayaz in some 45 million euros over there, and really big news. He's been speaking and he's been expressing confidence in his ability to deliver at the very big stage, which is the English Premier League. But one group that has been left excited with this news is the West Ham United supporters group in Ghana, GH Hammers. Earlier today, we caught up with the president, Isahaku Abdul Mumin, and he's been sharing with us his excitement and what they're looking forward to as far as Mohamed Kudus' performance in English Premier League is concerned.
Nothing but joy. When I say joy, is this is a player that likes to dazzle the ball around. He's a Samba type of football. And then I'm just looking forward to see the partnership between he and Paqueta, because the Premier League is, let me just say, they are ready for Kudus. Kudus will, definitely bring joy to East London. But the London Stadium, it gets a fair ground for everybody. So, but we are waiting for Kudus, and then we can't wait to see him wear the claret and blue, as I said, to just thrill the fans, and then Moise will have the best of him.
Isahaku Abdul Mumin, the president of GH Hammers, that's the supporters group of West Ham United here in Ghana. Well, on the local scene, Dreams FC and Midiama also managed to qualify to the next stage of the CAF Interclub competition. For Dreams FC, they defeated Milo FC 3-1 on aggregate to 3-2 on aggregate to advance to the next stage of the CAF Confederations Cup, while Midiama also got the better of Remo Stars of Nigeria on penalties 3-2 to advance also to the next stage of the CAF Champions League. But let's hear from the head coach of Dreams FC, Karim Zito, who says he's excited and looking forward to, at the very least, advancing to the group stage of the CAF Confederations Cup.
I'm very happy for my boys. I'm very happy for the club. I'm very happy for myself, because we work towards this victory and then we achieve it. Because I told you people that I went to Guinea with two objectives. That is either to win or to draw. And I had one of the two. So again, here I said, I need nothing but to qualify. I don't care about the goals. I just want to qualify. Though it was a hard way, but I'm very happy I've achieved my objectives. So far, so good.
That's Karim Zito, the head coach of Dreams FC. So good news for the Ghanaian clubs on the African continent, Dreams FC and Mediama, making Ghana proud, and we hope that they advance. Well, just a bit also about Ampem Dakwa, because they're also representing Ghana in the WAFU Women's Champions League qualifier. They're currently playing Samneli FC of Burkina Faso in the semi-finals of that game, and they're currently leading 4-0. It's second half at the moment, and if they're able to win that tournament, then they qualify to the Champions League proper, which they failed to do the last time they were there last year. Well, that's it for sports. Emefa, I understand you were at the London Stadium where Mohamed Kudus was playing when you made your trip recently.
Officially, I'm a hammer now.
Yeah, hammer now. I like it. Good. So, Pepsodent Herbal and Chaco brought to you the sports, and Pepsodent, every smile matters.
Thank you. Let's head to Chalewote. There was a week-long festival that featured a meditative procession through the streets of Osu, screening of movies, display of artwork, drama, and much, much more. The climax of the 2023 edition of the Chalewote Street Art Festival was at the weekend, as thousands of revelers were at the Black Star Square through to Osu to participate in West Africa's biggest celebration of arts and culture. Maxwell Abuba has more.
It is close to midnight, and beneath the moonless African sky, thousands of festival goers are still gathered at iconic Black Star Square. The intoxicating rhythms of Amanziba Nat Brew's high life music fill the air. King Ayisoba is on stage, adding a unique flavor to the musical concert.
The whole world.
There were more performances after him. And the festivities continue. Less than 100 meters away, Joy FM's DJ Black is on the turntables, treating patrons to some good music.
This is my third time. It's fantastic.
Okay.
And we hope that next year will be more than this year.
Let me talk to your friend. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Ejari. I'm a teacher at Granata Senior High School.
I'm loving it. This is my 10th time here. 10th time? Wow.
We rep. You know, wow. You know, today. Charlie, we enjoy it.
Earlier in the day, the streets of Osu came alive as various artists had the opportunity to showcase their talents.
The Chalewote Festival has become the big magnet attracting people from all walks of life here to the Osu Castle Gardens and also to the Black Star Square. Pierre, the Member of Parliament for Kolikloti, Zanato Ajman Raleigh.
This means a lot because this is certainly one way of reviving the activity, not just here, but in Osu. Yeah. You know, Osu is a very old town with a lot of history, and this creates an opportunity where art, where storytelling meets the current generation.
Tourists from around the world have fallen in love with Chalewote and the warm hospitality of Ghana.
What do you love about Ghana?
The very good food.
And what kind of food? What's your favorite Ghanaian food?
Fufu.
Oh, you love fufu?
And red.
Where are you from? Which country?
France. And I'm from Germany.
When you go back to your country, what are you taking back? What are you going to tell them about Ghana?
The mood, the people in the street, the food, and Ghana time, I think, also.
It is not just the adults who are captivated. The festival has enchanted the younger generation as well. They want the Chalewote Street Arts Festival every month.
Gabriella.
Oh, Gabriella. I love your confidence. How are you doing?
Good.
Oh, great. Tell me, are you having fun here?
Yeah.
You like it?
Okay. I'm not from Ghana. Well, my mom is from Ghana and my dad's from Ghana, but we live in the UK.
Okay.
So me and my sister. Hi, Grandma.
Well, that's Chale Wote for you. And what a partnership it's been. It was the first time the festival enjoyed a partnership with a media house. The Multimedia Group Limited, led by Joy Prime TV, brought you comprehensive coverage. Let's bring in a programs manager for Joy FM, Edem Naite. What a partnership this has been. Are we doing it again? Oh no, we lost Edem Naite there. But that's how we wrap up today's edition of Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll be back with more on Chalewote. It's time for the Joy Forum, and we're bringing it to you live. How to stay chaste as a youth. There's more coming up.